just kind of.
The NBA has a huge problem, a market problem, or rather the NBA has a small market problem. Because although on paper it's a league with a level playing field in which all teams have the same salary cap and draft rights, the reality is that during free agency, players always try to choose exactly the same destinations: Los Angeles, New York, Brooklyn, Boston, or Miami. NBA stars usually ignore small market franchises. It's as simple as that. Or, in other words, star free agents ignore 80% of the league. This factor creates a handicap in the league that requires meticulous planning and drafting in order for small market teams to be successful. The only way these franchises can get top players is through the draft. And in order to get a high lottery pick, GMs are forced to decide to put terrible teams on the court, capable of being bottom dwellers for up to a decade. And in one particular example, there's one man who has mastered the art of building a competitive NBA franchise in a small town. In the middle of the state of Oklahoma, there is the city of, well, Oklahoma City, which is home to the Thunder franchise. And in this quiet and peaceful capital city, which lacks the typical partying and hustle and bustle sought after by many top-tier free agents, there's a GM who's changed the game in the same way that players like Allen Iverson and Stephen Curry have. Sam Presti is a managerial genius, a GM who has already gone down in history as one of the best basketball minds for his ability to make a small-town team compete during virtually his entire tenure at the helm. Presti reached the top of the Oklahoma franchise in 2007, at the young age of 29 years old, being the second youngest GM in league history. The man was trading and negotiating contracts with players who were actually older than him. But most impressively, he put together probably the best young core of players ever to grace the court. A group that included Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Jeff Green, and Serge Ibaka. And that roster under Scott Brooks made it to the NBA Finals in 2012.
Kevin Durant, LeBron James can't handle him. He can't get through the screen.
But after this explosive progression in which the Thunder managed to establish themselves as one of the best franchises in the West along with the San Antonio Spurs and the Los Angeles Clippers, the project ended up stagnant. The injury factor was very influential in the results of the playoffs, which in turn were very influential on Kevin Durant's decision to leave Oklahoma.
The Warriors welcoming Kevin Durant to the Bay Area, the all-star forward.
And that decision came at one of the most disappointing sporting moments for the franchise, which had just lost in 7 games to the Golden State Warriors during the playoffs, squandering a 3-1 lead.
Durant way downtown. Bang! Kevin Durant!
And on top of that, they saw one of their 2 superstars decide to join the team that had eliminated them during that summer's free agency. But the Thunder still had Russell Westbrook, who earned the first MVP of his career by elevating Oklahoma to relevancy, a position they solidified with the arrival of Paul George, who in turn enjoyed the best season of his career in the city. Even with the addition of PG, the Thunder still could not get past the first round and had been eliminated in 4 consecutive first rounds by the time PG was dealt. That was the reason why Sam Presti knew it was time to dismantle the project to build a better future. For the first time since the season the franchise moved to Oklahoma, the Thunder entered a full rebuilding process. 2 seasons of 22 and 24 regular season wins, coupled with Sam Presti's tremendous ability to add assets with every decision, have allowed the Thunder to draft 13 players in the last 3 drafts. And obviously not all of them have panned out, but the scouting staff has been right on the money with the highest picks. The Australian Josh Giddey, 6th pick in the 2021 draft, just finished his 2nd season in the NBA and hasn't even turned 21, averaging 16.6 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 6.2 assists per game on an efficient 48% shooting from the field. Giddey seems to have the potential to become one of the best wings in the league, a versatile player with a ton of skill who also has incredible court vision for someone his age.
Health and safety protocol. Next man stepping up.
Jalen Williams, the 12th pick in the 2022 draft, has also had an incredible rookie campaign, earning the starting shooting guard spot. With averages of 14.1 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 3.3 assists per game, he's proven his offensive ability. But this aspect was already known when he was selected in the lottery. It's his defense that generates some doubt, but at only 21 years of age, he has plenty of time to polish these defects. In addition to being productive, he's shown an enormous level of efficiency for a shooting guard, converting 52% of his shots from the field. Most interestingly, the best prospect the Thunder have taken in the draft over the past 3 seasons has yet to make his NBA debut. This is Chet Holmgren, who, after being drafted in the 2nd position at the end of the 2021-2022 season, was injured that same summer in a play with LeBron James. A 7-footer with the skill set of a wing player, he's able to score from all positions on the court and handle the ball with great skill. Holmgren has the potential to be the face of the franchise if expectations end up being met. If that wasn't enough, the Thunder were able to acquire a player in the Paul George trade who has been nothing less than All-NBA First Team and All-Star this past season. Canadian gilgeous-alexander is considered by many fans to be the best shooting guard in the NBA. He averaged 31.4 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 5.5 assists per game this past season, shooting 51% from the field, 35% from three-point range, and 90% from the free throw line with 11 attempts per game. A special player who's only 25 years old, and who, along with Chet Holmgren, should catapult Oklahoma in their fight for the playoffs.
Shea gets it, spins away, baseline shot, Shea puts it in!
Oklahoma's current roster, which still has to cut some players for the start of the season, has an incredible 14 players with less than 3 seasons of experience in the league. A very young core whose oldest player is Victor Oladipo at 31 years old. And despite this youth and not having their most important prospect available, the Thunder posted a record of 40 wins and 42 losses that allowed them to play in the complicated play-in of the West. Players like Luguentz Dort, Kenrich Williams, Aleksej Pokusevski, or sharpshooter Isaiah Joe have proven their ability to be part of the rotation of a team that can compete despite the inexperience of its members, and thanks to the spectacular work of Mark Daigneault.
See on the turnover, Shea checks it, goes right to the cup, banks it home!
The coach, who's entering his 4th season at the position and has been through the entire rebuilding process, has also shown a great ability to develop players and help them find their role in the most competitive basketball league in the world. And well, even these factors have not summed up Sam Presti's work preparing the team for the next level. The Thunder have 17 draft picks over the next 3 seasons. Yeah, you heard that right, 17, of which 10 are in the first round. Some picks in addition are from teams like Houston or Utah, which still appear to be lottery-bound during the upcoming season, and this factor is part of the reason why the Rockets have invested so much money this summer to accelerate the rebuild. These assets are great dealing chips capable of convincing any team to trade virtually any player in the league at any time. An absolute accomplishment from a legendary GM who can really make an offer that none of the other 29 franchises will be able to refuse. It is curious, however, to see how the media still doesn't realize the extraordinary foundation of the project. Not many people on the national stage are talking about the Thunder. And despite being All-NBA First Team, which on paper translates to being one of the 5 best players of the regular season, not many people are talking about Shai either. And it also seems that everybody has somehow forgotten about Chet Holmgren's potential. But that's just what confirms what we told you at the beginning of the video about small markets. Because in reality, the NBA is far from a balanced league. In addition to the attractiveness of the city, players take into account many other factors when choosing their destinations. Tax rates change in each state, players have different lifestyles as well as being influenced by their families, and some, only some, take into account the future of their franchise they're negotiating with. But Sam Presti's dominance in the front court is so crucial that his success is becoming also a factor. Building a skyscraper from nothing is complicated, but the task is easier when you have the best architect in the world. Because their GM is so good at managing assets, he's become one of the team's most prized assets itself.